speaking to each other and diving into what we need today. So I'm not going to be you know, telling you to do things or you know telling you steps or teaching you things that you then have to go away and implement. We're actually going to spend this hour tuning into the deeper wisdom that is inside of us, inside of our bodies, and really finding how we can bring that out to a whole new level. So first thing I like to do, because this is about you and we're always different every single day, in every single moment, we're always different. Just take a minute and just check in with you right here and now. So you might, maybe you came with an agenda of, I'd really like to work on this, I'd like to improve this, I'd like to transform this, I'd like to get rid of my back pain or my stiffness in my neck or my digestive issue. It could be health, it could be life, it could be relationships. And just take a kind of moment to just tune into you and see, what is it that I would like to improve today in this next hour. So it's kind of like it was your birthday. Birthday time. See what your wishes are. So when you feel like you're like, yeah, this is the thing that I want to kind of put out there on the table. Just go ahead and share it in the chat box so that I know. Hey, Lindsay. And we can, always interesting because there's always lots of crossovers that happen. Gatherings. Oh, Ford is online. Hey, Ford. Back on the chat box. Lindsay's in Iowa. Oh, Deborah? She's from Iowa. Deborah. I actually remember her last name. Hey, Ford. Okay, so I'm just bringing everyone online here. Okay, so type in your wishes to the chat box and let's see where we're going to begin. Okay, so we've got Marissa says, purify my desires. What does that mean, Marissa? Can you give me some more clarity on that? Yeah, give me a few more words. Well, it says, I want to finish my full-length film scripts. I want you to as well. Maggie said, I would like to rid my body of all this nervous energy that I have because it makes me so unfocused, focused and scatterbrained. Okay. It's changing though, right? I see it changing in you. Yeah, really cool. I just, Becky just sent me a beautiful Holy Shift testimonial and I posted it on my Facebook page. I really encourage you to watch it because it's really, really beautiful. Yeah, it was really amazing to watch that, Becky. Particularly compared to like the other one you made me. So yeah, the next level of that, you got it. Okay, so Layla, I'd like to bring a partner into my life. Been single a long time. Also, want to move forward in my work life. Okay. Okay, Marissa, want to move with my heart as opposed to my brain. Good one. Always good for all of us. Lindsay, I want to learn to live, operate above the stresses of everyday life. I feel I've begun to shift on many levels, but I keep falling into old habits, patterns, and behaviors. Okay. Perfectionism, worry, getting stuck in my head. Okay, we will see what steps we can take you to that today. Oh, cool, Marissa. Yeah. Sharon says, I want to embody my dancing feet and hop into my next life chapter with joy, love, excitement, new heart-based relationships, and just general awesomeness and fun. Oh, yeah. I love that vision. You come to the right place. What are your dancing feet? You weren't here on, was it Thursday night, I think? We did some lovely feet stuff. Okay. So then Emily, sending her thoughts that tell me I don't have enough of something. Oh yeah, they like to hijack our brains sometimes. Shanna, untie the knotty tissue on the sides of my breast, armpits, inner thighs and pelvic area as they are achy to the touch. Okay, function freely from my heart space, move forward boldly and love unconditionally. Caitlin is coming on in. Caitlin. So Rachel says, oh, let's continue to stay relaxed and happy and in control. I feel a real sense of peace at the moment. I love it. I don't want stress to creep in. Thank you, Laura. Yay. Continue to move forward and trust and connectedness. Okay. So let's just take a minute just to notice now our physicality. So here you are in your body. So just bring your awareness inside of you. Obviously, we are interacting through this computer, but I'm very much seeing, imagining, feeling us that we're really together in the same room. And so we're interacting with each other, we're dealing with this world outside, and yet all of our experience happens inside of this, inside of your body, inside of your vessel. So when we get stuck out there in the world, often we forget about this part, which is really the place where we can make the massive changes. So the first thing you're going to do is just notice, okay, am I inside of me right now? And can I just bring myself back if I'm not? So if you find you're like thinking about, oh yeah, I've got to go meet that person later and I've got to like get on the bus and go downtown, you're literally kind of taking yourself out of this moment and into that future moment. It's almost like you can vacate your body in that way. So just notice if there's any of that going on and just bring yourself back. And then just notice how your body is feeling. So maybe you might feel some tension or some nervousness or some restriction, or maybe you're feeling peace, maybe you're feeling settled, maybe you're feeling energized, maybe you're feeling tired. Just allow yourself to just acknowledge without any judgment, just notice, okay, this is what I'm experiencing. Notice how much chatter that is going on. Kind of just make a mental note of this, because we're going to compare when we get to the end of this session, and it will have changed. So even if you're feeling good already, we can always go to higher and higher and higher levels. Okay, so I'm just kind of tuning into you now to see where we're going to begin. Okay, so we're going to start with some universal health principles, diving into our body-mind subconscious, really, the part of our brain that is kind of the chattery, thinky part, that's a really small part of who we are. and it's a very small part of our brains, and then we have everything else that's going on beneath the surface. So all of your organs, endocrines, body parts, all of the systems of your body, everything is it's being coordinated, it's renewing itself. There's like billions of processes going on that we're not kind of aware of in our mind. So what we need to do is to find out, okay, where are those areas in there, in that sea of billions of processes that I'm made up of, where are the areas that are ready to be improved? So what I'm going to do is tune in through my connection to everything to find out where is it that we as a group are ready to like shine the light, reconnect some of these areas so that we can move to our next levels. Okay, so we're going to start with circulation within the chest. Circulation of lymph. And it links into the lungs. And there's a definition of truth, like self-truth. And so the image I'm getting is like, okay, so lymph is to do with cleansing. It's the part that literally, goes and it like finds the trash and it sweeps it up and takes it out. Actually, it's more recycling in our body. But it's the cleansing aspect. And, sometimes, if you look around your house, you might see things which, if you were to see them now in a store, you probably wouldn't buy them. They're probably not really you anymore, but you just have kept them because you've had them for the past 10 years. And for whatever reason, we just hold on to these things. So it can kind of be the same in our body. We can, as we're changing and evolving, we can stay in our old patterns. And it's, so if you were to do a spring clean of your house, maybe you wouldn't even think about throwing away some of these old things. So it's kind of like that as we're doing lymph within the chest. It's really getting our body not just to do a spring clean, but actually to have a real clean out and actually take a look at each of the things in here and be like, okay, so rather than just cleaning around this object, do I actually want to keep it, or can I actually let it go? So it's a real deep lymph within our chest. And it was linking to the lungs. Linking to the lungs with the definition of self-truth. So it's really like, you just take a breath for a minute. Take a nice deep breath. All the way in and all the way out. You might notice as you're breathing, there might be some areas that feel a little restricted. Or maybe it just feels normal, like this is the way it is, it's always like this. And so if you imagine if there's some clutter going on in the chest, maybe there's some tightness and rigidity, maybe maybe you had an accident and you had scar tissue and it's still present there. The concept of breath, the concept of experiencing myself, the concept of this truth is relative to all of the stuff that I'm holding on to. And so as we are throwing out the stuff, which we're now able to be like, actually, you know what, this isn't me anymore, let me let that go as well, it's like we're able to move to a whole deeper place of understanding what self-truth is And so it's really just letting go of another big layer of what we're not, so that we can breathe to a new level and experience what we are. Okay, I feel like that was a very long explanation. Got any questions? Okay, so we need to do exaggerated breathing as we're tapping this out. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to put your hand on your chest and you're going to imagine that you can just literally scoot out and just kind of encourage the lymph flow. The lymph is just below the surface, but kind of like right under the skin. But because this is also metaphorical, I'm also thinking like all the way through my chest. And then we're just going to tap over the head and over the heart. Just imagine, okay, I am cleaning out my chest. This whole area, if there's anything in here I've been holding on to, but I didn't take the time to see if I needed to get any more or want to get any more. Just letting that inner wisdom go and take a look and just have that reevaluation and anything that it's like, well, I don't really need that anymore. Throw it out. And just take nice deep breaths. Then you're going to put your hand on one lung. And just take some nice deep breaths, so all the way in and out. And just imagining letting go the restrictions, the things that we've been holding on to, they're being cleaned out. The lungs can discover a new self-truth. Other side, and then deep breath. Okay, and now we're going to do emotional release of grief from the diaphragm. And this is hard to hear me. Is anyone else having trouble hearing me? Am I quiet? Do I need to speak up a bit? Maybe if I come. Is that better? Okay. All right. Okay. So we've got lymph. Okay, good. You're so quiet. Okay, we've got emotional release of grief from the diaphragm. So as we're letting go of all of that, there is a healthy grieving process. So it's funny or sad or whatever. Interesting. Last night there's this coat I have that I don't really wear and it's not really me anymore. And even though I've had it maybe 2 years, it's not even that long. And yesterday I was like, you know what? Like, this coat isn't me anymore. It needs to find a new home. So I took it down and I left it outside my house, which is what you can do in New York. You can leave your stuff on the street and someone will pick it up and give it a home. And so I put it there, like on the wall in front of my house, and I go to walk away and I suddenly felt so sad. I was like, oh, coat, I'm so sorry. Like, I felt there was this like part of me that was grieving, and Emily was with me and she was like, it's okay, you'll find a good home, somebody will really love it. And while I was able to get that, there was a part of me that felt like I was losing a friend, even though this coat isn't me anymore and it was fine for it to go. So there's this natural healthy grieving that takes place whenever we let go of anything, even if it's something that we don't want anymore or isn't serving us anymore. So we're going to do emotional release of grief from the diaphragm just to help that process happen so that we're not then holding on to the grief. You know, because last night I could have been like, oh my gosh, it's so terrible, and I could have got then stuck in the grief, and then I find that I'm okay. I might have let go of the coat, but now I'm holding on to the grief, which is worse. So we need to let go of the things and the grief. Okay, and it's linking to our heart, and there's a definition of new expansion, and this feels um, on many levels. You know, one, as you know, as we let go of things, suddenly there's more space for newness to come in. And then within our physicality, as our body is letting go of the stuff that we've been holding on for a long time, as it can let go, there's more space inside of us to expand and experience new reality. And you know, it's interesting how it's been very connected to the lungs and the heart and the chest and this whole area. As the restrictions in the chest release and the lungs can expand more, then the heart has more space. All good. Okay, and it's linking to an object that you all have that, if I was to say to you, okay, the thing that you know you need to get rid of, or if you just take a moment and think, like, is there something that isn't really me anymore? Maybe you've been thinking about getting rid of something. Maybe it could be something, you know, like you need a new toothbrush, or it could be something like you need a new sofa, or you just need to get rid of, you know, your clothes, or you need to get your hair cut. So just type in if something is sprung to your mind already. I'm getting that there's something that we all have. And just let me know what it is. Cool, Maggie. She just situated. Sweet. And actually, today I just switched ballet shoes. I bought 2 pairs of ballet shoes, and my old pair kept falling off my feet because I got all stretched out. And I'm like, no, I should keep them a bit longer. And oh, they're not completely used yet. And today I was like, Laura, just wear your other pair of ballet shoes. Like, get rid of them. So I need to actually throw them out because I still have them attached to my back. So that's my thing. Okay, so we've got razors, haircut, shoes and clothes to donate, emotional pain. Okay, good. Is there a thing as well, Margot, like an actual physical object? Caitlin also needs a new razor. Haircut, old jewelry. Layla says, my dad gave me this when I was little. What is it? A rabbit. Oh, and he needs to leave you? Yeah. Wear some clothes. I need to remove myself from board whatever. Okay. Margot, I need everything. Okay. Nothing? Nothing in your ownership? I bet if you have a think about it, there might be something, even if it's a small thing. Clothes. Had a huge clear out this weekend, wearing out our ballet gear for our promotions. Yeah. For going through traveling bags, donating all clothes, not really wearing or using. I looked at this morning. I want to let it go. Oh, all papers and books, papers, clothes, earrings. You know, because objects store memories. And, you know, and as Rachel said, you know, she pulled out her old ballet stuff and it brought up all these emotions. So when we look at something, it brings back memories. It brings up emotions. These may be conscious or they may be subconscious. And the actual physical objects do also, they do pick up our energy, you know, and they pick up our emotion and our whatever was going on for us in our lives when this object or this thing, um, you know, was more a centerpiece of it. It's really interesting. So anyway, it's time for us to let these go. So this is good. We're putting this out there. Okay, so new phone and computer is half my thing. Okay, so just today we're just going to decide one thing. I mean, you're welcome to do more, but just today we're just going to commit to. Okay, I'm going to take this one thing and I'm going to move it to its next evolution. Whether that's throwing it in the dustbin or giving it away or wherever it needs to go, you decide. But we're all just going to agree that we're going to do that. Agreed? Okay, so this is part of this link. Becky, yes, that would count, I think. Your daughter's things? Yes. Okay, so Jessica says, I've been letting go of a lot and I've been noticing a real reluctance to bring in new things because of that sense of grief when letting things go. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're going to tap this out because as you can see, it can bring up emotions to us and that's good, that's healthy. That makes us human, but we just need to have our body be able to process it so that we can let it go. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting, before we can tap out this link, you all need to type in the chat box yes, um, in agreement that you're going to throw out the thing. And I need to do it as well. This is already there. That was quick. Yeah. Okay, good. Mine just has excellent. Was that something you threw out this morning, Becky, before the call? Or did you just do it while we were on the webinar? You did it before? It needs to be a new thing. Another thing. Okay. I'm sure you've got plenty. Okay, sweet. Okay, so now we can tap this out. So you're going to put your hand on your diaphragm, so kind of base of your ribs, and we're going to take nice deep breaths. We're going to tap again, head and heart. And just imagine, maybe you can feel the grief. Take nice deep breaths, and we're literally scooping it out. And just encouraging it down and out. So emotion needs to move through our diaphragm. So as we're breathing, the diaphragm is moving. We're processing that grief. The body is able to see it, feel it. It's like, okay, yeah, I know what to do with this. And then you're just going to take your hands and move it down, like encourage it down to the intestines. And it might feel, oh my goodness, oh, I can feel that in my belly. You might physically like feel it. You might feel some gurgles. You might feel some like tension. You might feel the emotions. Keep breathing. Just allow it to be there, and our body is then gonna just moving it through. Grief from the diaphragm, letting it go, and just taking a deep breath. And you're also just going to imagine the object. And maybe as you think of the object, there's the story that goes with that. So just let that go. Okay to feel the grief. Process feeling. And then you're going to put your hand on your heart. The definition of new expansion. Nice deep breaths. So as we're letting go of things that we no longer need, no longer are resonant with us, we're allowing ourselves, our hearts to open up to new expansion, new truth. Okay, so a little bit more on this theme. Okay, so now we've got a fear of not having the things you need. So, when we clear things out, there's, often that like, oh my goodness, but what if I need it again? Or what if I don't have the resources to be able to get the next thing that I need? So you may be thinking, I want to get a new phone. Well, okay, if I let go of this one, will I be able to bring in the new? So it's the fear around that. It's the fear around not having the things we need. And there's a satellite. So it's like another part of this picture. Lymph flow again. It's lymph within our brains. So the concept of really cleaning out of our brain. Okay, this is a big clean out session. So just as we hold on to old things, we often hold on to old thoughts. Our thought processes, they're our friends. Even if we don't like the thought process, it keeps popping up. We're like, go away or come back. You help me deal with this uncomfortable situation. Let me think you again. So we've got really cleaning out those old thought processes, particularly around the story that we create. So, it's interesting, we just got the fear of not having the thing I need. And what is that? That is simply a story. The story of I won't have it. Well, how do we know? Like, we're not in the future, we're now. But we're feeling the emotion, we're feeling the fear, and rather than our body just being able to say, oh, I'm experiencing fear, okay, let me breathe with it, let me let it go, we hold on to it and we put story around it and we give it the reasons why we're feeling it, and then we project into the future all the other reasons why we're going to continue to feel the fear. And that's why often these emotions get stored in our bodies and we end up in these loops of patterns that we feel like we can't get out of. So we need to disassociate those thought patterns from the emotion so our body can process the emotion, and then the thought pattern doesn't need to be there anymore. Okay, so we're going to cleanse our brain from some of those old thought patterns and the stories around not having what we need. And then there's another piece to this in parallel. It's another emotional release. It's grief again, from the chest again, and it's going to be slightly different for all of us. It's kind of bringing in some memories of being a child and experiencing grief. So it's interesting. The first thing that pops into my mind, I remember, I don't know how old I was, maybe 4 or 5, and I remember I used to have, I don't remember what it was, I just remember it was purple and fluffy, and it was little, and somewhere between walking with my mom, and I think she had a like push chair, what do you call it, stroller, Um, uh, and getting home, I lost it. And I was absolutely mortified. And it was just this like purple, fluffy, whatever, random object. But I think that's the first, or at least that's the memory that pops in. And the first time I remember having this feeling of grief, like this thing that was mine that I lost. So just allow yourself to take a moment and just see if a moment pops up in your awareness of kind of a, probably like the earliest memory of a time when you lost something. And if something pops up, good. If nothing is, that's okay too. Just, I think we probably all have something. It might be a couple of things might come up. So this is helping our bodies to go to this earliest kind of point of this story. It's like we have these experiences, particularly as a child, when we don't have our more evolved brain to be like, well, it's okay, and things come and go, and I can go buy another purple fluffy thing. Like, you don't think that when you're a child. You just experience the emotion and you feel helpless. And so this can like set up these patterns of the emotion in our body. And so we need to get our bodies to like zoom back in time through the structure space time to those times as a child where we experienced this loss, so that we can bring our awareness now, our like bigger perspective that we have now, to that time, so that we can shift this pattern like from then, from that earliest memory. And cool. All right. And there's a little something else. Oh, okay. So we need to do, we're really time traveling today. We need to do a link on ourselves at that point. So for me, that moment where I remember looking for the purple fluffy thing and just feeling the distraughtness. Okay, so what we're doing is it's almost like we can go to ourselves, that 4-year-old on the street, and supporting our breath, our ability to breathe. Because what happens when we lose something or we feel emotion, we tighten up, we hold on. I mean, we may cry, which is actually probably one of the healthier ways of processing, but often mommy will then tell you, don't cry, okay. And then the emotion can get stored even more, because the movement, the crying, the breathing really allows it. Remember, when we're breathing, the emotion is being processed, digested, let go. So we're going back to that moment and just encouraging our 7-year-old who were 4-year-old self to breathe. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, Layla. Yeah, so if you don't have an exact story, that's fine, but you probably can feel the feelings of it. Oh, I have a story, but I don't remember the story. Okay, yeah, that's fine too. Okay, there's one more link. We're linking that childhood event memory to, oh, we're doing lots of time traveling today. We're linking it to ourselves tomorrow. So this is all going to be processing. As once we tap this out, Our bodies are going to be processing it. You know, you can have the thought, yeah, I'm going to clean my house. Like, you still have to go do it. It still takes some time. So what we're doing now is we're going to be saying, okay, body, you're going to go and clean up and throw out and do all these things. But then it's going to take a little time to process. And so then we're linking to the future knowing of the new expansion, the new clean house. So, you know, when you're cleaning, often the thing that keeps you going, I know yesterday I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to vacuum my house. And it was the thought of having a clean house that kept me going, that kept me like keeping doing it. So we're in the moment now, we're able to process the past, we're able to go to the future, all from this here now moment. Yeah, this is so amazing. Very cool. All right, so we are ready to that. Thank you, Emily. All right, so you can put your hand on your diaphragm, take a deep breath. So we've got the fear of not having the things you need. Nice deep breath. With that concept of not having the things I need. And the satellite of lymph within our brain. So cleaning out the brain, those old thought patterns and stories that come in and we feel the emotion, give it a story. Brain. Oh, I can feel my brain like that. And then we have emotional release of grief from the chest. Encourage that. Breath. And then the memory of being a child and losing something. Just imagine yourself, your child just breathing. And then linking to ourselves tomorrow. Okay. So now we're just going to balance our cortices. So hopefully you'll know this. One, here. And we're balancing our brains. So you're going to put one hand on the base of the skull and you're going to tap with the other hand. So our brains are constantly needing to update what's going on in our body mind. It's kind of like, we've got an image of like it being like a surveillance camera. So if your brain is a surveillance camera for your body, and now we've gone in and cleaned out the body, maybe we've painted some walls and thrown out some old furniture, and then we have the next position. Now the surveillance cameras need to notice, you know, maybe the man behind the desk looking at surveillance cameras is just like oblivious, like same as it was yesterday. It's the same, nothing ever changes. And it's like, oh, something's changed in the house. Walls have been repainted and that thing's gone. Okay. Then we move to the next position. And then all the way up to the eyebrows, we get the That's good. So that means brain is really resetting itself. Isn't that amazing? We're like all over the planet and like still yawning together. Oh. And then hand side of your head, hold, and put your head up, up, middle, body. Take a moment just to notice how you feel. Take a couple of breaths and notice if your breaths change. Oh, and it's really cool as we can start to, well, as our body starts to become more and more efficient at cleaning out, we get cleaner. We get better at cleaning out. Like, it does it more. It wants to do it more. So when it, it's kind of like you're trying to clean out the house and there's been a like load of boxes in front of the door and you're trying to clean out but you can't because the boxes, you don't know how to get them out. And now we've like cleaned out the boxes, everything is going to start to be able to flow more easily. And then the fear of getting rid of things, it's like it's got no validation anymore. It's like, oh well, actually it was quite easy. It was actually a really pleasant process. Okay, so we're just integrating it into our heart. So you're going to put your hand on your heart. And there's a lot happening in this session. It's really cool. I'm like seeing lots and lots of layers of it. Like as we're really able to be more comfortable with this process of letting go, there's a new relationship forming to who or what you are. It's like you don't need to be the things and the stuff and the memories and and you don't need to even be the part that's constantly trying to let go. You can actually become the part that is observing this whole process, and it's like the constant joy that comes from newness, like moment by moment by moment by moment. Oh, so the heart is just being like, yes, thank you. I'm not a static object. I'm moving all the time, constantly moving, changing, evolving. Yes, be with me in that experience. Don't try and hold me in a state and put me in a box and label me. It's like, no, I'm constantly evolving and moving. Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling very different right now. If you want to share any of your experiences, go for it. Yeah, Becky says, more expansion in my lungs. I feel in so that we can do a little bit more. We're probably going to run over about 5 minutes, so we're going to go through with that. We can do more. We're going to do some more for the lungs. We're going to do a little Franklin method. Ooh, cool. We're going to do some Franklin method lung sliding to really nail this one. Okay. How are we going to start? Hmm. I just need to wait for a moment while you type if you're typing drops into water. So we've got closer to self, smiley, bright eyes, deeper, fuller breaths, more space in chest, and ease in sitting upright. Isn't that so amazing? It's like, as many times I do this, every time I like blow myself away. How cool is it? Okay. So he says, I feel really excited to clear out. I feel expanded. Yay! Yeah, and this is always the thing. It's like, we can try and, imagine yourself when we started this session, and imagine remember the feelings, and it's like that place, that person wouldn't have had so much fun cleaning out because it's stuck to the stuckness. And so maybe you could have cleaned out, but it would just feel like, nothing fundamentally would have shifted. And so now when we can actually shift it in here first, suddenly the out there becomes easy and fun. That is our goal for like everything in life. For it to really happen in here, and then this part just to be the like fun playground. Yeah, Rachel, vibrations from my heart, gratitude. Isn't it cool how we can, well, I think those of you who I can see, like share these experiences with one another through our. Okay, so now we can do some lung sliding. So we're going to start with our right lung. So you're going to put your hands on your right lung and just go up. You feel your clavicle up here. There's the clavicle. So we're not going to get lost in our clavicle today. But just go behind your clavicle and you're just going to push down a little, and it might be a little tender in there. And okay, so behind your clavicle, now you may or may not be able to feel this depending on how much we got going on back there. So this takes a little time and some real processes of freeing up this area. But let's see if we can feel it. So you're going to gently press in behind your clavicle. You're going to take a deep breath. And you might feel something pushing up under your fingers. Feel that? It almost feels like a little, like, kind of, actually this is the image from the very, it's like a little seal, like, poking up his nose from, like, under the water. That is the top of your lung. All that feel, that's the top of your lung. It's all the way up to the top there. That's why freeing up this whole area, the clavicle and the shoulder, is so healthy for us, because it literally frees up our breath, our movement, our lungs. Then you're going to put your hand you're just going to go down your chest and go to the base of your ribs and just kind of feel the base of your ribs, and that's the base of your lung. So just experience a minute. Wow, look how big this lung is, and front and back. We could spend a whole few hours on the lungs. Anyway, we do a little lung sliding here. Okay, so that's the size of your lung. And there are lobes in your lung. There's 3 lobes on the right, 2 on the left. And these lobes, they slide over each other. So I'm just going to give us some key pieces of imagery here. Okay, so we're going to keep it really simple. We're just going to think sliding lungs. Sliding, slippery lobes in our lungs. So imagine there's the top lobe, the middle lobe, and the bottom lobe. So even if you don't really know where they are, just imagine that they can slide. And just notice how slippery and slidey can this lung feel. So when you're moving it, does it feel slidey? Does it feel like it's slippery? Is there a hold in there? So what is really slippery? Are there any vegetarians here? Probably. Okay, so hopefully no vegetarians are offended. But yesterday I made a roast chicken, really good. And in the chicken there was a little bit gross. So just if you get grossed out, do that. Sorry, where are we going into the body? There was the liver left in the chicken, and I pulled it out, and I'm like, wow, have any of you felt a liver? Like one would come out of a, I know, sorry, like, it was so slidey and slippery, and I was standing there for like 2 minutes, just like experiencing the slipperiness of this organ, and it really helped me to remember how slidey the insides of our bodies are. And so I want you to just imagine, okay, so maybe you don't like that image, that's fine, but think of something that's really slippery. So oil maybe, but like, can you imagine even more slippery than oil? Like what can be so slippery that you can barely hold on to it at all? It's just like, soon as the surfaces meet, they just slide over each other. Pickle. About a pickle, okay? Slippery, slidey. And just moving around. Slippery, slidey, slidey. Mermaids. Oh, cool. Like mermaids sliding over each other. Okay, so sliding mermaids. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that one. Okay, sexy love. Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay, so just another few moments. So really experiencing this. So you want to be feeling it in your body. Slippery, slidey, slidey. Flip. And rest. And just lift your arms. Just take a breath into the right lung. And then take a breath into the left lung. And notice which one feels different. Let me see. Well, I'm kind of tell already, just through you on the camera, that the right lung feels like kind of easier. It's like, oh, I can just keep breathing. Wow, it keeps going. And the left one is like, it boring. Now you have a boring lung and a sexy lung. This is how you embody your like sexiness, not by like putting on the clothes, which is good too, but it's really by going in and discovering how sexy your body really is, like delicious experience of it. And now just move your right arm, exactly, Reggie. Oh my gosh, we have to make a music video of that. For sexy, we know it, we've got our slidey lungs. Oh, ideas. So notice how fluid does that right arm feel, and now compare it to the left arm. Different, right? Imagine you're in your like yoga class or your dance class, or you're reaching for something on the top shelf. Which arm do you want to use? Which body do you want to exist in? Which one makes life more fun? Which one do you feel like you could reach your goal with? Okay, there's my goal up there. Can I reach it with this arm? Can I reach it with this arm? Ta-da! You can reach anything now. Isn't that, it is crazy. Okay, so let's do with our sexy left lung. So remember plate a bit, all the way up just behind your clavicle, all the way down to the base of your rib. This is why, whatever is going on in your life, whatever the challenge, whatever the moment, whatever the frustration or whatever it is, always come back in here first. Always. This is really the only key that works. Anything out there will just leave you again. But if you can find the movement, the fluidity, the grace, the ease, the joy that exists in your body, that can't be taken away from you. You become the master of your experience. So, have you got that image of slippery, slidey love? So just notice if your mind is sitting for another moment there, just bring it back. And present with me, with my body, with my experience. How slidey can I allow my lung to be? So remember something that you felt that was really slidey, slippery. Imagine that the lobes, so you have two lobes on the left, they're just sliding over around each other. Sliding, sliding, slippery. There's no friction at all. We're in a frictionless world now. Just like, woo! Two lobes on the left because of the heart. Okay, and breath. Bring in breath. Notice the relaxation in your shoulders. Notice the ease to sit with easy posture. Notice your energy levels. And just take a moment just to allow your brain body to really acknowledge this is you. This is you. So just give me a word or two sharing your experience. Yes, Becky, I know we don't say things off. I know, overdue. If they haven't gone, I just taken a little break. So we've got clear, smooth, spacious, free. Breathing is more fluid. Oh, balanced. Becky, is that anxious feeling diminished? Yeah. Settled. More breathing room. Still happy. I'm getting the chills as I'm reading these. It's so amazing. You know, and if you had gone to yourself, at the beginning of this and been like, feel happy, feel still, like breathe more, connect to your balance, you'd have been like, yeah, but how? Well, now you have the steps to take yourself there. Feels like a weekend in my lungs, like free and I can do anything they like. Just have fun and go out and enjoy the day. Yay! Easy, I didn't realize how stuck I was. That's a really good observation. We don't until we free ourselves because we become used to it. It becomes normal, and that can be why it's challenging sometimes for us to see our potential because we're so used to where we're at. We don't feel the stuckness until we have a new experience. And then we're like, wow. So I'm hoping that you get addicted to this progression. We're like, okay, if I can experience that, like, what else can I experience? What else can I experience? So it gets better and better and better and better, and there's no limit to how expansive and amazing you feel. And with that gift to yourself is the gift to the planet. So when you are more in this state of existence, you are more effective at everything you do. Everything. Because you have it already. You're already experiencing the feeling you want to feel. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to, I have to get this thing done so that I can feel good. I need to buy this thing so that I can feel good. I need to have this much money so that I can feel good. I need to have this person in my life so I can feel like, no. I can access this already, and I can go to higher and higher and higher levels, and then it just happens out there. Like, it just becomes easy to clean your house, and it just, you're so excited and vibrant that people just want to come be around you, and you fall into this existence of synchronicity, and it's like life has to reflect back to your state of existence. And this is why this is the first thing we have to care for, no matter what. No matter what. And it can be really challenging when we're in our heads and they're like, no, 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 you must feel bad right now because your computer is not working properly. Like, happened to me before I got in this webinar. And I'm like, okay, I could get annoyed right now, or I could just be like, okay, let me feel the feeling I want to feel, and then I'll be able to deal with the computer issues and still feel okay. And this is, I feel, what we are all here to do. Whatever you're doing in the world, it's about your state of being as you do it, not what you do. People don't really remember you for what you do, they remember you for who you are. And so then you can be your next expansion, your next level of being brilliantness. And then everything you do will just happen. Yes, you can ask a question, Becky. Absolutely. Mine says, finally feel free enough to buy the beautiful dress fabric. I think it's me. Cool. Okay. Okay, it's a good question, Becky. Sorry, we are running over. We're going to be at least another 5 minutes. I hope you can all stay. Sorry for going, but I think that was worth it. Okay, very good question. So she said, just to clarify, when I'm feeling anxious, do I focus on the slipperiness of my lungs to calm myself? So Becky, and this takes a while to get. It's not about the lungs, it's about the process. So yes, that is one of a billion ways to support your body to shift out the anxiety. The key is to, how can I connect to me? How can I connect to something that is in me? So our lungs, it could be your shoulder, it could be, it's whatever you know. And the more tools you have, the more pieces you have, the more resources you're able to draw from, the more you're able to support yourself. So it's not about the thing, it's not about the lungs, it's about the process of, let me be with something in it. You could maybe do the shoulder sponging or balance your cortices, or, you know, do one of the other billion techniques we've done in Holy Shit. That's why none of these webinars are ever the same, because we're always different in every moment. And the more tools you have, the more you're able to say, okay, in this moment, I'm going to be with my shoulder and just do that. I'm going to squeeze my clavicle. I'm going to connect to my liver and feel how that's moving. And it's staying present with the what is and having clarity on what what is. That's why we need the information so that we're, you know, have some science to ground it into. Okay, so that was amazing. Thank you all for being here so much. So these are 3 incredible experiences. We have another one this evening at 7:30. Please, will you share these? So this is my one request to you all to go share your experience with somebody. You know, if you post it on Facebook, please post on my Facebook wall because it's inspiring to me. I just love it. It's just so beautiful to hear the changes that are happening, and I really, really, really appreciate that, and I really appreciate that dialogue. So yeah, come back this afternoon if you want to. 7:30. Thursday we have a 2:30. I'm not sure that evening one yet because I'm going to meet Eric at Kapalu because he's teaching there for the weekend. And then on Monday is starting Holy Shift, which hopefully you've heard me being very excited about because it is really exciting, which is the 4-week program. Imagine doing this experience, like this transformation, twice a week for 4 weeks. Like, your life will never be the same again, I promise you. And pretty much everyone who has done it in the past 1, 2, 3 sessions is continuing on, and they're like, okay, we need to do this all the time. So I've actually scheduled 6 Holy Shift, I'm calling them chapters. So a session is like a 90-minute block. A chapter is a 4-week block. Shannon says forever, probably forever. Probably forever. I know at this point I'm like, I don't think I can ever stop doing this, but we'll see. Things do change, but whatever happens, I'll be evolving. Anyway, so for now we're saying Holy Shift for the next year. If you got even a little inkling of new insight from this hour, and I think we all got a lot, do it. Just do Holy Shift because there's nothing like it out there, and I see so many people struggling with their stuff and talking about it and thinking about it and trying to work it all out and like, oh, I need to do this thing, I need to buy that program, I need to get a therapist or this or that. And I just, you might get there, it's just going to take a long time and it's not going to be so fun. And I just know that this work is going to change the world. Like this combination of all of these pieces together, and not only for yourself, but the community and the group is so beautiful and expansive and supportive and sharing the visions of transformation. So, you know, when you change, you need to be around other people who support that change and who hopefully are changing as well. And because it's like if the surfaces are sliding, like we want a slidey surface and a slidey surface. We don't want a slidey surface. I'm changing and evolving and moving into my next evolution to next to a like, I don't want to move. Becky has to go pick up her daughter. Bye, Becky. Thank you, Tina. So it's just so supportive. Please come join us. Yeah, and I mean, talk to Shanna, talk to Emily, talk to Caitlin, talk to Becky who just left, Rachel. I've got like so many beautiful stories coming in. I just gotta edit them all and share them. You can't go wrong. Like I guarantee you, if you come join us, life is gonna be personal. So to sign up for Holy Shift, it's laurahainesfranklin.com/Holy Shift. All the details are on there, best as I've put them together right now. And the investment for this is, for one chapter, is $567. So it's not cheap, it's not extortionate, it's like an investment where the commitment happens. So I really wanted it to be a real good balance between doable and I'm making this commitment. So everyone who participates is 100% committed to the process. And that has been really, really essential to the progression of our whole. I do have payment plan options. If you want to just sign up for the one chapter, I have a payment plan of $200 for 3 months, so it's a little bit extra, it's at $600. And the year, if you want to sign up for all 6 sessions, I can't remember, I think it's 16 for the whole year. It's pretty amazing. The like guaranteed huge propulsion of units. And then there's a payment plan option for that as well. Yay. So, and if you need to miss a session, they're all recorded, so you can watch them again afterwards. You have access to them for, I don't know yet, probably at least a year. And the community and the Facebook group that we have is super. There's so many. I could talk to you for the next like 3 hours about holy shit. Actually, the next day. So if you have any questions, email me. But if you feel like an inkling of like, oh yeah, that could be really amazing, do it. And if you have any like things coming up of like, okay, but what about this? What about the time? What about the money? Email me, and I'm calling in the right configuration of people to take this to the next level. So if you feel like that is you, then please show up for the mission. Rachel says, I have had so many shifts through Holy Shift. I have so much more energy, clarity, and ability to juggle all aspects of my life. It's been incredible. Okay, so Emily's posted the details there. And says, you can't make this time, but maybe another time. What you spot on? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Caitlin says, absolutely life-changing, clarifying, efficient, liberating, fail-proof, magical, truth-based amazingness. Those are cool words, Caitlin. Yeah, there's not many things you could say that about. So I'm really blessed to be sharing this and sharing it with you. So on that note, we have run over 20 minutes. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for embodying this for me. Maybe see you tonight, and hopefully see you on the Holy Shift. That's it. So, love, loads of love. Oh.